Yeah, where are all my people in the madhouse? I'll be a guide, climb aboard and sit your ass down. Don't worry, there's no need to fear when you hear. You know we're right here. We got the crew and we're ready for a game time. You're not ready to step inside a deranged mind. Yeah, this is what you came here for. We got machinima news and fuck yous. It's the goddamn Ward.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Wardcast. Every Monday we bring you the latest in video game news, talk about survival horror, machinima, and what's going on at the Ward. I'm one of your hosts, Shaun Clark, alongside Jazz Rich.
I had an audio clip and I was trying to get it ready and you started.
All right.
I'm sorry. Hello.
Wow. Do you have it ready now? Good job.
Nope.
Great. Alec Funnell.
I'm trying to find it.
Fuck.
And if you're not down with that, we got 2 words for ya.
Fuck you.
Wow. And for the first time in forever, Austin Fanny Tickler Brown. What was that?
That's me being a bird.
Hey, Jazz.
Hi.
Well, that's funny tickling right there.
Did you
Be careful, I just might tickle your fanny.
find your audio clip?
Yeah.
You professional, you?
Yeah.
Would you like to play that for the audience at home?
Okay.
Okay. Okay.
I get.
There's been a series of in my face.
Not as funny anymore.
It's perfect because I made a Frozen reference too.
For the first
What's Frozen?
Wow.
I was singing that professionally.
Oh.
I was
so
just
good.
telling you how my week was. I'm sorry.
What?
Oh, baby.
Thought that was somebody else's week.
Everybody.
Yeah, it was my week, you asshole.
All right. Am I crazy? Am I literally fucking insane?
Yes.
Because wow.
Yeah.
All right, next segment. I got my answer. Seriously, okay, because hearing people talk about next gen systems, like everything is just perfectly fine, it's driving me fucking crazy. People just having casual conversations about how these next gen pieces of hardware that are due out in 3 months and still have no price tag, mind you, are not a big leap in technology, and they just offer some casual quality of life improvements. And that's it. That's all they are. Like, people are talking about that like it's no big deal, like it's fine.
Oh, gee, like it's almost like every other console generation that's ever happened.
Well, that's the thing. It's not. Like, normally, you get a bump in quality. Like, there's a reason for you to buy that hardware. You're getting better graphics. You know, there's a leap in technology to justify going from one to the next. But this one,
Totally.
everybody's just talking about it like, oh, you know, there's not really a whole lot going on here. It's gonna load faster. It's gonna, you know, do these little quality of life things here and there, and people are just okay with that. That's enough.
Well, honestly, for me, the last generation felt like that to me too, where it's just like the PS3 to the PS4 didn't really feel like that significant a jump to me. Like the Xbox to the Xbox One didn't really feel that significant either. So it was just like, fuck this generation. I'm just gonna go on my PC.
Yeah, and that's the thing. So we had that gap, that progression shrink down a lot last gen, like when we went from PS2 to 3 or whatever, and now that jump is even smaller than that was. That's how big of a deal it is. It's like we were disappointed last console generation when this happened, and we're not even getting that.
Yeah,
that's a fucking
honestly,
problem.
I do see what you're saying. Yeah, like, you know, especially because like when you compare like the PS4 to the PS5, it's practically the same. Like, it just looks weirder.
Yeah, but it's just weird. Like I listen to, you know, news like podcasts and just discussions and stuff like that, and just people are just talking about this like it's normal, like it's not a big deal, like it's not a problem, and I don't understand that. Like I feel like Microsoft or Sony could offer a $500 or $600 toaster and say it loads games faster than last gen consoles, and people would just be like, okay, neat, I'll take 2. But can I pay $700 instead? Like, what? I don't understand how people are reacting, or rather not reacting the way that they are, where they're just treating this like this is just normal, fine, acceptable. There's no reason for concern. There's no reason to bring up the fact that this is fucked up and weird, and that we should be concerned that they're asking us to pay all this money for something that's completely not worth it, rather than being like, yeah, cool, I'll buy it.
Yo, wake up, sheeple, vote with your wallet.
It's because, the more concerning part is, okay, the system's not going to be any different. It'll load a little bit faster. Not really. It's more expensive, whatever. As long as the games don't have the gestures that mean nothing bad at all.
You can't
'Cause
say
that's,
okay.
That's the offensive part.
You
If
can't
you
offend
fucking have a
anybody.
thumbs up, that's clearly a sign that you're going to rape somebody, so you should not be having that in video games.
Thumbs up your asshole.
That's where everybody's concerns are. Never mind the speed of the console. God.
God.
Yeah.
Priorities.
Did you say minorities?
Priorities. Ah.
Oh.
In minorities.
Man, what a pack.
And, it's just like the fact that we're 3 months away from these consoles coming out, and it's taken so long to get any information, to see any games, any kind of gameplay, to see anything at all. It took us forever just to see what the consoles look like. And, we still don't know what it fucking costs. They're waiting as long as humanly possible to show us anything at all. And again, no one's wondering why. Like, nobody's concerned that maybe there's a reason for that. Because if you look at history, this has never been how things are handled. It's like I've talked about a fucking million times. Like, it's a celebration. Everybody's like, hey, or like Microsoft, Sony, Nintendo, whoever, they want the attention. They want the press. They want people talking about their system. So they want you to know how powerful it is. They want you to know what it costs. They want you to know how the games look. They want to overwhelm you with all this information to get you hyped to go buy the new thing. But none of that's happening, and everybody's acting like this is just the way things have always been, where they've just never released any information. But
Well, Sean, I will give a significant counterpoint to this in that, our current pandemic situation that we're in is probably putting quite a wrench into all this shit. So I could at least give some benefit of the doubt where it's just like, okay, we're not really at a point where we're going to like hype up these systems too much. It's kind of more of the fact that like we're lucky we could even get these systems out right now because, everybody's like clearly having to like stay home and everybody's, getting sick and all that. So, at the very least I could defend it in that sense, but
Bitch.
you are still right in the sense that, hip bitch.
wow.
you are definitely still right in the sense that like, even just from like day one, even before all this stuff started happening, like it just kind of seemed like the draft was that, oh, we're not really going to change that much. We're just going to kind of give more of the same. And that as far as like any advances, it's not even really going to be that big of a leap. It's just like, slightly better graphics, slightly weirder design. And then, we just got to concentrate on the games and stuff, which to be fair, like the games tend to be the most important part anyway. So, as long as the focus is still there, that's kind of more of what I'm concerned with. But like, as far as like the justification of like buying consoles from generation to generation, like the justification is definitely getting less and less. So I think all of what you're saying is definitely a symptom of that.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of see that, but like in terms of, so in the past, probably, I don't know, at least a year and a half to 2 years prior to like even the official confirmation of the system, rumors start to happen and leaks start to happen. And then shortly after that, you get official, like you get a screenshot of one game that's just mind blowing that, one of the developers release to build that hype, right? And it looks insane. And you see that like 2 years prior to the fucking systems coming out. And it gives you that excitement. And it never lives up to that particular screenshot or whatever is first revealed. But, it dials it back a little bit. And there's, kind of a compromise between that amazing, mind-blowing next-gen idea, because they push what the console can do all the way up to its limits in the ideal environment to show what the console can do, to build that excitement. And then so when they make a game, they can't quite pull that off exactly the way that they showed it, but it gives you an idea of how powerful the system is. And we never got that. And then going back to like, yeah, I understand the whole pandemic thing. As far as like releasing the system and hardware availability and, maybe getting people together to work on things can be hindered because of that. But this also kind of built an environment where they can easily have everybody's attention. And you can't tell me, like, even a year ago that they didn't have the specs and hardware models and things like that, and mock-ups and, games running on potential hardware where they could show that same stuff that they've always shown, that screenshot or that video, to build that hype, to show you what they think the console can do. Like, they should have still been able to have that stuff ready and available to show the public, pandemic or not. Like, even if you go back to like January or February, before things started to blow up and get out of control, like, at that point they should have been talking about the systems and showing things and showing what they think the system can do and building hype, and none of that happened. So True. It's just from day one, they've just been approaching this very differently. And I feel like it's very obvious as to why they've been approaching things so differently. It's because they know that it's not going to be a super powerful generation. They know that the games aren't going to be mind-blowingly different graphically. That's why, when they did reveal information, it's quality of life and better loading times and cross-generational play and all this other shit, all these different focuses that should be like additional, like, quality of life things that are great in addition to this more powerful system that can run better graphics. Like, that's why when you buy a new PC, you're expecting it to be able to play, better graphics. You're not going to buy a $600 video card to get a minor upgrade in visual quality, right? You're expecting something to impress you. Otherwise, it's not worth that investment. And it's always been the same concept
in Minecraft.
It's always been the same concept with video games, even more so, or video games with consoles like PlayStation and Xbox consoles, where you've got a big gap. You've got like a 5 to 7 or 8 year window between those consoles. So within sometimes the better half of a decade, you expect a huge jump in graphics because you've had all that time for them to build new tech and to push graphics and for things to grow and evolve and become more impressive. Where like it's a bit more iterative on PC, because it's like every 5 or 6 months there's a new graphics card. So if you're on top of that and you're a billionaire and you can afford to do that, it is more incremental. But with consoles, since you have that huge gap of technology and time, you should be blown away. There should be a huge graphical difference between that 5 and 7 or 8 year gap where you're buying console to console. So when you wait all that time and they show you something that looks like current gen, and they're probably still going to want $500 or $600 for it, it doesn't make sense. Why would you spend that money?
When it comes to especially graphical quality and all that kind of stuff, a lot of that can definitely come off pretty subjective, to be fair. But especially we're at a point with just graphics technology now where we've got games that are looking so amazingly realistic. Even in last gen, we've already gotten our graphics to look at that point. There's not that much more that can be really done as far as really significantly upping the ante to the point where, oh god, this is a complete generational jump, with how realistic graphics already look now. So that's probably what a lot of these companies are having trouble really asking themselves is how the hell do we actually up the ante from this shit? Because we've already done some pretty crazy, amazing, looking games. You consider things like Horizon Zero Dawn, for example, or just any of those really top-notch looking PS4 games. And then it's just well, how the hell is PS5 going to top that? I mean, they're practically going to look the same as that at this point.
I feel like CG movies, Pixar or whatever, those kinds of movies is a good way to look at it, where every time one of those comes out, it's pushing technology and it's always impressive. And even now, when a new one comes out, it looks better than the previous one to a point where you can appreciate the graphical differences. So until we are on par with that, there's always room to grow in terms of video game graphics. If we get to the point where a new game looks like the brand new CG animated movie, they look exactly the same, then I would agree with you that, yeah, okay, we've hit the peak, we're there, that's fine. But we're not there. There's still a gap in quality between CG films and video game graphics.
Well, so actually, if anything, I'm positing that sort of line that we draw is actually subjective, because just who are we to say that we've hit the peak or that we still have room to grow? I mean, any game can, have any kind of visual style that they want. So, as far as like technical prowess versus style versus like actual longevity of like how long, these games actually last with how they look, who's to really say that we've hit our graphical peak, and who's to say that like, this game looks like shit or this game, looks amazing and blah, 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 especially like when it comes to these games that do look particularly amazing, especially like some of the examples I just posited, like, sure, like they may look amazing to myself, but I could possibly bring that to somebody else and they're just kind of like, it looks okay. And it's just like, what? I mean, come on. So, it's definitely like an interesting thing to consider as far as like, I definitely see what you're saying when it comes to like comparatively with like the Pixar movies. Like, yeah, they are constantly trying to like show off something new with each of their concepts in each movie. So it is kind of interesting to see that, like, as far as this next generation of consoles, that they haven't really like set up that kind of hype where it's just like, oh man, we figured out this new technology with this PS5 that we can totally pull this crazy idea off that we never thought was possible before. So yeah, like as far as you saying that hype is missing, like in that sense, you're totally right. So it would be kind of nice to see at least like a bit more of that coming along. But at the same time, it is, it's still kind of hard to really judge like where the actual, line is or where the peak is. Like it's constantly evolving in just so many different ways. That's really hard to really narrow it down.
Sure. But even with that, if we're to the point where if they feel that they can't push graphics any better than what we're at right now, then that's fine too. But don't make a new system. Or
yeah, like what's the point, right?
Or if you're just going to focus like entirely on quality of life and running better and loading faster and that kind of thing, that is also okay. But upgrade the current generation. Make it so that it's like a $200 console. There's got to be some kind of a compromise to go hand in hand with how you're approaching technology, especially because you have to compare it to what we're used to over the last, couple of decades of what gaming has been and what those upgrades have looked like and what technology progression has looked like. When we've hit a point where we've got to change the dynamic, other things have to change with it. Price, expectations, technology. When you're asking for $500-$600 for a console and you've been conditioned to expect that graphical improvement from console to console, then like concessions need to be made. The price needs to come down. The expectations have to be set a certain way. You got to change the dynamic and communicate that effectively rather than waiting to the last minute before the console comes out, asking for the same amount of money that you typically ask for a console, and then just be like, oh yeah, by the way, it's just, things are going to run a little bit better. Oh, and you can play all the new games on last generation anyway, so there's not really a big deal. You don't really need this system, but still give us $500 or $600 for it.
Yeah,
it's like be transparent.
Conceptually speaking, like the analogy that I make here that makes me agree with that notion is the idea that, in particular, I have like the Adobe Creative Cloud, right? And the way that's set up is that it's just like a monthly fee and you get access to all the programs. But if you wanted to buy all of those programs individually, you'd have to pay like $700-$800 for each iteration that comes out every year, and that's essentially like the same thing but even worse. And you're just like, oh Jesus, what's even the point?
Gross.
Yeah, right. If anything, it could debatably be more gross, really. So, well, thankfully, like they did put out this whole like Creative Cloud methodology in order to like kind of combat that, where it's like they're not forcing consumers to just like buy a whole entire new license and just like keep that forever. Like you could just like keep getting each iterative license each year and just like pay a monthly subscription fee for it. So it's like, that's kind of at least the way that's serving as sort of a counterpoint to where like people can actually like afford it, quote unquote.
Yeah, for me, the whole point of this topic wasn't even for next gen specifically. It's more about the mindset, the mind share, the people, the community, and just like people's ideas of what things should be and how they're responding, and how it seems like there should be a conversation happening here that's not happening. And no one's questioning anything or raising any concerns. They're just going with the flow like we do with every fucking thing. Like all these a lot of the times when I complain about something, it's about stupid people doing stupid shit and like going with the flow where nobody's standing up or having a conversation. It's just like, oh well, the majority's doing this or saying that, so I'm gonna say that too. Like, that's fucking bullshit, and it makes me feel insane because I'm like, well, there's some big issues here and like big changes being made that we should probably talk about before we just jump in and make that change and go with the flow or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, I totally get that notion too, but like at the same time, I mean, especially considering the situation that we're currently in, there's so many other bigger problems at stake here that I think people are just kind of like, you know what, fuck it, just give me my PS5, I don't care. Like, there's too much other bullshit I'm dealing with. So, I think like as far as my personal perspective, I'm just kind of apathetic to that, and I think a lot of other people are in that sense too, because it's just kind of like, well, at least we're getting consoles, like we could very well just have it be delayed and not get anything. So, but to be fair, like for all we know, that could potentially be worth it if they actually like find some kind of actual worthwhile improvement to make it better. But if anything, for me, like I'm already a pretty avid PC gamer as it is, and the fact that the console market is having to heavily compete with that market, and the fact that a lot of people are actually jumping on the idea of just buying their own PCs or building their own PCs that actually last a really long time and you can just upgrade them effectively. Like, I think a lot more people are latching onto that concept too. So, the console market really has to heavily compete with that, and I think they're struggling because of that too.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like it doesn't, like, I'm not a PC gamer, never have been, never wanted to be, but it just makes more sense to, like, at this point in time, the way that the next gen is looking, it just makes more sense to be a PC gamer.
Yeah.
And that's really unfortunate. But the thing, like, my problem is, why is that not a topic of conversation? In the gaming space, despite what's going on politically and in the world and everything, I get that that's complicated and there's a lot happening, but conversations are still going on in the gaming space. We're still talking about what's going on. We're still talking about what's coming up. We're still talking about video games and hardware and everything that's happening. So despite that, those conversations are still happening, but we're not talking about that in particular, where I feel like if we're going to continue to talk about video games and technology in the future, that should be coming up and it should be questioned and looked at rather than just, hemming and, just being like, oh yeah, okay, that's fine, whatever, just do whatever you're going to do and I'll buy it. Why do we have that mentality? Fucking look at what's happening and question it. And like, are we making the right decisions? Like, should this really be the way that things are going? Like, if things are going to get so gray between PC and console, why even have a console? Why not just enjoy the benefits of PC? If that's the ideal gaming experience and everything's going that way, just make it PC. Put everybody can play everything together. It's one platform. It's consistent. If you want to upgrade, great. If you don't want to, that's great too.
Yep.
Like. The whole point of console versus PC is you have that choice, you have that variety, you have that simplicity, consistency, kind of sectioned off in a piece of time. With a console, you know what you're getting. It doesn't change, it doesn't evolve. You don't have to buy iterations of hardware. You know what you're getting, you know what the games are going to look like. It's a set expectation that stays there for 5 to 7 or 8 years or whatever that looks like, where PC is evolving. It's always changing. You can upgrade, the graphics get better time and time again. There's mods, there's all these different things that they're trying to force into next generation of consoles, where we've always had that. It's called PC. Why do consoles need to be that? But the more important thing is no one's having that conversation. Nobody seems to give a shit about that. They're just saying, okay, it's fine.
Except for us here at the ward. Yeah, we give a shit.
Yeah, and that's why I feel crazy. It's like, what the fuck? Why am I the only person in the world having these thoughts? Like, why the fuck is nobody talking about this? Why is everybody so afraid to have a conversation about what's happening in general, in the world, in gaming, in hardware? Like, we shouldn't just accept everything that's forced down our throats, Talk about it.
Yeah, I beg to differ.
Wow. Alec, no.
Oh, baby.
Part of it too, like, I'm noticing this with Resident Evil Village. Like, I've been kind of keeping up with the leaks and the information that's been coming up, and somehow, some way, there's fucking excitement about this shit, and nobody, like 95% of people are excited about this game, and you don't really see any conversations about what the fuck is happening. Why are they changing this so much? It doesn't feel like a Resident Evil game. They're just taking it for what it is. It's like here's a new Resident Evil game, says Resident Evil, good enough. And everyone just like, yeah, cool, I'll buy it. You know, it's like, yeah, that's fine. Witches, werewolves, vampires in a game that fucking doesn't resemble a Resident Evil game whatsoever. That's just okay. No problem. Nothing to talk about there.
Work for 7. Yeah.
I just don't understand. Like, I would think there would be more of a conversation going on about, like, shouldn't this be concerning? Like, is this really the direction that we want Resident Evil to go? You can make a new IP. You know, we're really hurting for new IPs right now. Everything's a remake or a fucking sequel. Like, this is the ideal time to come up with a new IP. If you want to do something different that's not Resident Evil, go do that. Go make a new game.
Yeah.
Go make a fucking gothic survival horror first person experience, and that can be fantastic. And then boom, guess what? You have a new IP for people to get invested in. That is a good thing to happen. But when you take Resident Evil that's, you know, been building up a story and characters and expectations for, you know, since the 90s, people have, or I would think people would have an expectation for what that means. Resident Evil has a meaning and an expectation. You want to see characters. You want to see gameplay mechanics. You know, you want to see the survival horror and the item management and all these different things. That's what you want with a Resident Evil game. And this new Resident Evil game's not giving you any of that. But again, nobody has anything to say about this. They're just like, hey, look, new Resident Evil, cool, can't wait to play it. What?
Well, I think I think that's the thing for me is that, yeah, they are doing all this weird shit that doesn't seem like it fits into Resident Evil at all. Like, you know, werewolves, vampires, like, what the fuck? But at the same time, that's kind of what personally makes me a bit more excited for it, because I kind of want to see them sort of get weird with it, and I want to see them do different shit. And so, you know, if anything, like, I'm still going to play it, but, like, if anything, I'm more, you know, just kind of, like, anticipating, like, just the result of the final product. And then, like, if it ends up just not being that great, then it's just like, okay, well, woe is me. But I'm at least kind of excited that, you know, they've been able to at least have fun with the franchise in the sense that they could just kind of, like, do whatever the fuck they want at this point. And, you know, everybody's going to have their own different reactions to it. As far as your reaction to it, it's completely valid. Like, you know, they're practically shitting on Resident Evil, you know, for lack of a better term. So it's just like, yeah, sure. But at the same time, like, you know, at least I could tell that even with the fact that they're not necessarily, like, sticking to, like, what made Resident Evil great in the first place, they're at least, like, mixing up the formula enough to where it's just kind of like, okay, I'm kind of curious to see where this goes. And, like, you know, consider that like a morbid curiosity on my part, you know?
Yeah. I get, part of it for me is that I'm super invested in it, so I take a more critical stance.
Well, absolutely, you're like one of the most invested Resident Evil fans I've ever known. So.
I mean, like, I've grown up with Resident Evil. It's something that's been in my life for most of my life, and so I know what Resident Evil has been, and what I feel like it should be as somebody that's been there from the beginning. Because again, it goes back to, like, why do you buy a Resident Evil game? Because you want more Resident Evil, right? If a fucking baseball game comes out and says Resident Evil Baseball, like, I don't want that. Like, that's not why I play Resident Evil. I don't play it to get a baseball game or for them to put Iron Man in it or to do some fucking crazy bullshit and experiment with it. Like, if you want to do something new, that's great. I'm all about making new things and exploring and you know, playing with new concepts and ideas, but like, when you're destroying the idea of the foundation of what you're making, is it worth it? Like, should that really be what you're doing?
Well,
like, why am I playing Resident Evil anymore if I'm playing it to play Call of Duty? I'll go play Call of Duty.
Right. Yeah, and, like, you know, spoiler alert for the folks at home, you know, Shaun and I already kind of talked extensively about this last night too. So, you know, there was, like, you know, some of the points that we made there where, you know, like, just the idea that they're, like, taking, like, these franchises, but they're just taking them into such weird directions that, like, it practically has the effect of just running the franchise into the ground. And it's just like, you know, I kind of see, like, the potential of that happening here, like, as if Resident Evil already wasn't run to the ground enough as it is, you know, like, you know, just further driving the nail in the coffin, you know, some might argue. But, you know, for me, it's just like, you know, Resident Evil 7, you know, say what you will about that game, like, I fucking had a blast playing that one until it got to the whole shit part of the story. But, you know, as far as, like, at least that reinvigorating interest in the franchise again, it's just like, okay, cool. But at the same time, like, the industry is just not really encouraged to really put out too many new IPs, because unfortunately people are just like so conditioned on nostalgia for what they're interested in, that, you know, as far as like introducing any new ideas, people are just like, oh, what the fuck is that? I don't want to buy it. And it's just like, dude, come on, we're trying to promote new ideas here, and, you know, trying to, you know, make new shit happen so you can run these franchises into the ground.
and that, like, how do we break out of that mindset though, right? Somebody's got to be the trendsetter. Somebody's got to take the risk and start throwing out new IPs to change the dynamic of what that looks like. You know, right now we're like, oh, well, franchises that I know, I want more of that. So people just latch on to the name. Like, people are not even latching on to the content. They're latching on to the fucking name, and it doesn't even mean anything anymore. So, like, somebody's got to come out, start throwing out new IPs of quality so that we can change the idea that, you know, we just need more sequels. We got to get to the place where we're putting out the new content for people to want more new ideas, more new IPs. But we're never going to get there if everybody just continues to make remakes and sequels. You know, somebody's got to take that step. And clearly Capcom wants to do that. They want to make something new and different, so do that. But for Resident Evil to be the franchise to take that step is probably one of the worst ideas ever. Like, they're probably one of the least ideal prospects for that, because fucking Resident Evil a few years back was on the brink of destruction because it fucking lost its identity. It started turning action. Everything was going to shit. So they finally turned things around, you know, a little bit with 7, because they took a step back and they went horror. So in that regard, they kind of built a little bit of trust back with that. And then they got a whole lot more investment and people returning when they did the Resident Evil 2 remake, because that felt more like survival horror and classic Resident Evil than we've gotten in a very long time. So that was a huge stride towards the right direction to rebuilding Resident Evil. And then they fucked it up, because they fucked up Resident Evil 3 remake. That wasn't what people wanted. They cut a bunch of content. They started leaning a little bit more into action and stuff again. And then they're going to continue to fuck up by going not only back to first person, which most people don't want, but now you're going to remove yourself further from the source material more than you ever have. You're going to experiment with a franchise that you already almost fucking killed. Like, what the fuck? They're going right down the path that they were at before, where they're on the brink of destruction. Only it's worse this time, because before you could just be like, okay, well, they tried to make it too action oriented. They lost their way. Now they're going back to horror, but now they're going down the horror path and they're fucking that up. If they can't even do survival horror right, then it's over. There's nothing else to blame. You can't blame a different direction. You can't blame trying to go more action oriented, or going after the Call of Duty group, which is what they were trying to do when they did, like, you know, Operation Raccoon City and stuff like that. They started to make those action games. They were going for a market. They're a business. Okay, I get it, but guess what? That's not your audience. You made a mistake. You dialed it back. Great. Go back into horror, but do it right. Make the content that you should be making. Make Resident Evil games. Because if they fuck up survival horror, I don't think there's any way to come back from that. You're just proving to the audience. You're just proving to the audience that you don't know what Resident Evil is anymore, and you can't do survival horror anymore. So people are gonna leave.
You know, like, there's a wonderful irony in, like, all the points that you're making, because it's just kind of like, man, they're really fucking up Resident Evil. They should just make Resident Evil again. But then it's just kind of like, oh wait, but then we don't want remakes and sequels. But wait, these remakes are really good. So, like, what the fuck do we want? I don't know.
It blows me away, because it seems like on paper even it's very clear where to take the Resident Evil franchise. You know, you tried to do action. People got disinterested. You tried to do first person. For the most part, people didn't like that. What they liked about 7 was that it kind of changed the course from action to horror again, to survival horror, to slower. It was more about the pacing. But, like, in terms of a first person Resident Evil game, people did not like that. So going back and making Resident Evil 2 remake similar to old school Resident Evil, you know, what the expectation for the franchise is, that game did fucking great. It sold well. It had positive reception. Like, they had a roadmap clear as day as to what they should do next, where to take the franchise, and what people wanted. and now they're just going to throw that in the trash and go back to first person and make it less Resident Evil than it's ever been? Are you fucking serious? But again, going back to the topic, why the fuck is no one talking about this? Why is everybody just like, yeah, that's fine? Like, look at it, analyze what's happening.
I just
in
also
the path. Like,
I just also think it's funny too, because it's just like, you know, you have every reason to feel the way you're feeling about all this stuff, but me, I'm just kind of like, I'm not mad about this at all.
see, and that's the majority. And
well,
my
yeah,
thing is
so
just,
it's like, yeah, we all suck.
understand.
Sorry.
I just don't get it. It doesn't make sense to me. If there was a conversation out there, hearing both sides and making a good argument for why this should happen, then I mean, I guess that's one thing. Like, I would stand on the same side that I'm on now, but having a conversation about it, I can respect, and having those perspectives and looking at where Resident Evil should go as a community, you know, because we're the ones playing it, experiencing it, and spending the money, and that's fine. But no one's talking about it. They're just accepting it at face value for what it is, and it makes no sense.
Well, I think for me also, just when it comes to like me just kind of like tracking out my enjoyment of the Resident Evil series, like Resident Evil 7 was not a low point for me at all. In fact, I very, very highly enjoy Resident Evil 7, especially like for what it is and for the fact that like it's a first person Resident Evil game, which is just like, what? Like a mainline Resident Evil franchise is, you know, first person? Like, what the fuck? Like, I totally understand the grievances with that. But for what that experience was, like, I did highly enjoy it. Like, my only major gripe with that game is that it just doesn't really have the replay value that the other games have. So, you know, I kind of wish that they would have improved that aspect of it. But otherwise, like, it was like an experience that I highly enjoyed, and that I practically stayed up till 5 a.m. when it first came out playing it, and like, you know, having a blast with it. So
but did you enjoy that as a Resident Evil title? Like, did that feel like a Resident Evil experience?
Yeah, it did for me. You know, especially because like with the way that the, you know, the Baker house was laid out, and like just with the like tiny little tidbits of, you know, just, you know, trying to, you know, have like the mixture of like the upgrade system and like, you know, the puzzles and, you know, just like the monsters and all that kind of stuff. Like, it did hit most of the buttons for me. Like, it wasn't perfect by any stretch of the imagination. Like, I will definitely not consider Resident Evil 7 to be the best in the series at all. Like, that's still the first remaster of the remake of the first game. You know, that's always going to be the best one, like, no matter what you do, at least in my mind. But, you know, as far as like what Resident Evil 7 was and what they set out to do, like, it was still very enjoyable for me personally. And then I compare that to Resident Evil 6, which was an absolute goddamn garbage fire, and I hated playing every second of that piece of garbage.
But it just seems like it's thematically, yeah. Like, I've made the argument for Resident Evil 7 before. Ask Alec.
Yeah, sure.
But it's more thematic and conceptual things that tie it to what Resident Evil is. But from a gameplay standpoint, it's not Resident Evil. Like, Resident Evil's never played like that. Sure. So,
but for me, that's not a reason to hate it.
Well, no, it's a miss for me in the overall gameplay experience, you know, because again, those expectations, I expect Resident Evil to play like Resident Evil. If I want to play something that's not Resident Evil, I'll buy not Resident Evil. So yeah. Like, I don't want it to
if
be
anything, like the fact that the Resident Evil 2 remake turned out as good as it did, I mean, that was definitely a step in the right direction there. But it is kind of unfortunate to see that the Resident Evil 3 remake kind of like misstepped, you know, that direction, where it's just like, man, you guys could have made both of these remakes really amazing, but like, you only made one of them really amazing and you kind of dropped the ball on the other one. Like, what happened, you know?
Yeah. Okay, yeah. We'll have to get out of here because this was just supposed to be a short thing and turned into a long conversation. But we kind of started to lean into something I was going to talk about later, so we can just forgo that. So we're good. But yeah, it's just
Sean, get off your soapbox, you bitch.
At the end of the day, it's just like my complaint. The whole idea of talking about this is just like that the perception and of the audience. It just seems like everybody is just taking whatever's thrown at them, and nobody's willing to have a conversation about it. And I just don't understand that mentality. It's like, we should be individuals who like to explore things and have an opinion and have a conversation, rather than just being mindless lemmings who just buy everything that says Resident Evil on it. And that's coming from me, mind you.
Yeah, right.
I will buy everything that says Resident Evil on it. But Resident Evil Village, it like that's my breaking point. Like, we've gotten
that's fine.
that far for me, of all people, to say no, and that's sad. But the bigger issue for me is just like, that's my personal opinion and perspective, which is fine. That's specific to me. But everybody else just seems like they're all blocked. They're all grouped together as just being yes men. Everyone just like says Resident Evil, I'm okay with it. Not, is this really Resident Evil? Where's the conversation? Where's the concern? Where's the enthusiasm? What the fuck? Everybody's just taking everything at face value and not questioning anything or having conversations about anything.
Well, Sean, that's a pretty blanket statement for you to say that everybody feels that way.
The majority.
I'm sure you have plenty of people that agree with you. Myself included, actually. So
I say everybody because almost everybody that I hear and see in the news and in other podcasts and in other conversations, 99% of people are acting the same way.
Yeah, they're just sucking off Capcom. It's it looks amazing, guys.
It's a symptom of the coronavirus. That's why everyone's like this.
The vocal people.
Everybody's infected with those plagas. That's what's happening.
Why are they wearing masks in that trailer?
God damn it.
Because Satan.
Fucking Karens.
Hey, Jess.
What?
How was your week?
It was okay. I don't even remember most of it. I was off for 2 days this week, and I didn't do shit.
Aren't you always off for 2 days every week?
No.
No?
No, every second week I'm off Thursdays.
Oh, that's right.
This week we had a holiday, so I was off Monday. Usually I'm off half the day on Monday, but this time it was the whole day. I didn't do anything. I played a little bit of games. I played some Zombie Shootings. Yeah, I said it this time.
Hey.
A lot of fucking shenanigans. We didn't get anything done because we were too busy being stupid, which was great. More than usual.
We got a little bit done.
Alec, even you would have had a lot of fun that time.
Even you.
That's saying much.
Productivity, fuck that.
Usually we have fun just being stupid while we're playing the game, but this time we're in this bunker with survivors, and there's a lot of fucking stupid shit you can do, including sit on a wheelchair.
I love having fun with stupid shit, just like before this podcast.
Exactly. And Sean found a body, and he just walks into the fucking room holding this body. It's a skeleton. What did you name it?
Yeah, it's a dead body.
What was it? Tim, or no? Fuck.
It was a weird name, and then I threw it in a room, and then we died, and then it disappeared.
We lost a friend that day.
A dead friend, which I threw a dead zombies, so dead bodies make good weapons. And then
nice.
What the fuck else did I do? I didn't play a lot of games. I played a lot of NHL 20, but just because I felt like playing hockey. And
hey, that's Canada you're talking about.
You're right.
I think I play hockey, so that's my outlet.
Yeah.
I didn't get any concussions in the virtual world.
Good.
So that's good.
You have enough in real life.
Yeah, but it's worse when you get benched and then you play video games and then you get concussions in the video games.
My brain hole.
Life trying to tell you something. What else did I do? I watched more Disney movies to, as I say, recreate my childhood because I watched them in French, so it doesn't count. I watched Pocahontas. Pocahontas. People in that movie are fucking stupid. He gets to
take that, Disney.
Fucking John Smith gets to the wherever they are, and he's like, I'm assuming it's part of America or something. He gets there and he sees a raccoon and he's like, "You're a weird looking thing." It's like, it's a fucking raccoon, bro. You never seen a goddamn raccoon? And then they come out with this corn and he's like, "What the fuck is this?" It's fucking corn.
Fucking asking for a rack attack, dude.
It's the discovery of Iowa is this movie.
Iowa.
But then you turn it around where Pocahontas spends all her time fucking on a canoe and on a boat and whatever, singing to nature. And then she sees the ship sails and she's like, "Those are some weird clouds." And I'm like, "What?" You've never seen a boat or a
Oh,
fucking
so
sheep.
deep.
So nobody knows what anything is, basically.
Yeah, so they're all stupid. And whatever. Let's dig for gold on the beach here that we just landed on, because that's where the gold is gonna be. Okay, everybody's stupid.
They had too much opium on the ship, and then when they landed, they're just like, "Whoa, what is all this stuff,
Exactly.
dude?"
We don't know what raccoons are, but we know that there's Native Americans on this.
Oh man, what's this blackface thing?
Oh,
It looks
no.
stupid.
Oh man.
Is that a pedophile? What's that?
He's got a tattoo of a hand on his nipples, so we
What?
can shoot him.
Wait, what?
What?
Yeah. So
Oh,
that was
that'd be
the
a very
first one I
different
watched.
movie.
And then speaking of racism, I watched Peter Pan,
Wow.
Speaking of,
which is, you know what? Pocahontas is a movie entirely about Native Americans just getting attacked for just being there on their own land. But Peter Pan was worse for the
So it's like
racism
Resident Evil
towards Native
5.
Americans.
yeah, black people. Am I right?
Wow.
Not racist.
Yep.
Just kidding.
Resident Evil 5 is the Pocahontas of Resident Evil. Wesker is Pocahontas.
Obviously.
Yeah.
How about Wesker's Pocahontas?
Caress.
Caress.
And yeah, that's pretty much. I think that's pretty much all I did. I was gonna watch
Yeah,
Once
cool.
Upon a Time, but we didn't,
Hey.
because I got to the part where me and Shaun are gonna watch it for the Frozen part, and then you told me that you've already
Yay.
actually seen it. I thought you hadn't.
I mean, we can still watch that part.
Yeah, but then I watched Frozen instead.
Wow.
It was, we watched those censored videos, and then watching the actual movie was just funny, because then I spent the entire fucking day just singing that dick song, like reindeers fuck better than people.
Spent
Do
the
you
day
want to
singing
kill
about
some
dicks.
zombies? They don't have to be the
Oh,
zombies.
that's just us playing fucking Zombie Army Trilogy. We just keep singing about everything. Shaun wants to
Yay.
build a cowboy, by the way.
That's wholesome.
Doesn't have
I
to
want
be
to
a
build a
cowboy.
porno doll.
Yeah.
That warms
It does
my
have to be a
fart.
porno doll.
The internet is for porn.
And yeah, I feel like I did other stuff, but I can't remember, so I guess I didn't.
Oh well.
Yeah.
Fuck it.
Yeah. Except last night I did, because you know how I have Duolingo, and I'll randomly go on there
Dual
and, like,
lingo?
Duolingo,
Oh.
and I'll just start like learning a language, but then like give up halfway or something. Yesterday I got drunk and started learning Latin.
Oh, okay.
So
And I still remember all of it.
I mean, I only learned like a few words and I passed out, but great memory.
Laura Mipsum Nengum
Sleep. I remember
I'm an
dormant 'cause
expert.
it means sleep.
I'm an expert.
I'm an expert in languages. Ah! That's all.
I learned Spanish when I was, getting drunk and totally learning Rosetta Stone, all right?
Poor
It's legit.
Fedor.
Shaun and I are fluent in Spanish, thank you.
You gotta know Spanish if you want to sell boats.
We got the ward Spanish. It's a different
Yeah.
Spanish, but it's still understandable to us.
No hablo español.
What does that mean?
I don't know.
Es muy pasta.
Muy pasta.
Obviously Italian.
Bueno.
That is quite bueno, sir.
Yeah.
I love tacos and burritos.
Wow.
And fajitas.
Oh, yeah, and-
Vaginas are
Oh, and a Questela too?
It's a quesadilla, you
Delishimoso.
idiot.
Delishimoso.
Put some chipotle on my
I hope this doesn't sound nearly as racist as it seems.
No, it just sounds white and stupid.
Good, because that's all this is.
Which, that in itself could be a racist statement, but that's a whole other thing.
Oh no.
Demonetized. All right.
Can we get back to the pedophiles?
Okay.
Yeah, Alec, how was your week?
Wow.
I was gonna ask. I was just waiting for them to stop their banter, and it just happened to be on that. I'm sorry.
Okay. I
We know he
played
doesn't like
MGS.
children, so.
Wow. I played MGS5, Ground Zeroes, and Phantom Pain. I watched all of Simpsons season 30.
Jesus.
Yeah. So now I'm starting to watch the older episodes of Simpsons again. I did some more work on Metal Gear Spunk, written up to the first Sniper Wolf fight.
Yes. Do I get actual lines?
Yes, of course you get
Sweet,
actual
I gotta
lines.
listen to the first one to hear that voice again.
I want to have lines too. Can I have lines, please?
No.
Yes, fine.
Come on, Colonel. Come on, tag me in, Coach.
Look,
I'll be
I'd
able to
stake. You
record
actually-
soon too. So,
Nobody asked you. Just kidding.
what? Wow.
Shut up.
Alex,
Shut
I'm
up.
done talking.
Shut up.
If it sounds like I'm a little off, it's because I am a little off for some reason. I just.
Yeah.
But I'll end with my song of the week. So I once knew a girl who was very, very shy. She never ever seemed to catch any boy's eye. She hit down a trick that made all the boys stare. She'd leap up and down and wave her knickers in the air.
Ooh la
Austin,
la.
how's your week?
Oh, I love that segue.
Speaking of knickers,
yeah.
Whoa,
Speaking
whoa,
of
what?
knickers,
Can you clarify what you just said?
underpants, underpants, Sean.
can you clarify the lyrical genius that you just spouted?
It is a song.
Oh.
Yeah, it was a good one. but yeah. Anyway, as far as my week was concerned, I actually had a very amazing week.
Hey,
Especially
somebody had to
because
do it.
yeah, well, I'll be honest with you guys. I actually recently got diagnosed with depression, so that's an interesting thing. Not something you'd expect, but it's
Good job.
true. And yeah, go me. So I did it. I'm depressed. Yes.
You're welcome.
Yeah,
Achievement
but
unlocked.
yeah, but no, talking about your mental health is important, people. So
Talking about things in general
Yes.
is good.
yes, right. Indeed. So, if anything, I've been concentrating on a lot of that, and I've been going to therapy, and therapy is amazing for me. So, if any of you guys ever feel the need to do it, I highly encourage it. And I've also started taking antidepressants, which have been working very well for me, especially this week. Although, like the past couple weeks, I've been having to deal with the fun side effects of that, which are not fun.
Oh, boy.
But yeah. But thankfully now I'm at a point where I'm just like, yeah, I feel awesome. So.
Yay.
Yeah, so
Awesome, Austin.
as you guys could probably tell.
No, I don't know. You seem very sad.
Yeah, you seem like just a real, real grumpy Gus. You need to stop bringing down the vibe, you dickhead.
Jesus.
Hey, this is Liquor Song.
I'm sorry.
I'm just fucking around. It's all
No,
good.
no, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, and then shut up. As far as other stuff, also fun fact, I've been talking to you guys a lot this week, so that's been.
Maybe that's why you're depressed.
Oh, we did it.
I know I don't talk to you guys enough.
We're the cause.
Well, I mean, no, not at all. If anything, you guys have been really making me feel better, so I highly appreciate that.
Damn it.
Yeah,
it.
fuck, I want to make him miserable.
God damn it!
We're here for you. As long as we don't talk about next gen or Resident Evil, it's fine.
Yeah,
Yeah, 'cause
we're
you
here
all
for
have
you
bills.
to make you cry like a bitch. Right, but anyway, so I was also talking to you guys about some of the movies I was watching, and the most poignant one that I saw was Sorry to Bother You, which I highly recommend that movie because that movie goes places that I did not expect it to. And when it comes to movies, like, it actually takes quite a lot to surprise me. So the fact that this movie did definitely makes it worth a watch for me.
Now I'm curious. Like, I wonder what the twist is.
Oh, I
that's
am
surprising.
not saying jack shit.
Twist is that it surprises you.
Yeah, exactly.
Spoiler. God.
Just said it. God, think we listen.
Yeah, the twist is go see it, dick.
Wow. That's my favorite movie because people told me it was.
Yeah, and it's on Amazon Prime, so if any of you got that, you can see it there. So
Ooh, I do have. I
yeah,
do
yeah,
have.
so you could watch whenever you want.
Good, good.
Guten Tag.
Turned into Dracula for a second. Good, man.
Yes, Blaine. I'm in your Resident Evil game. Fuck you, Leon.
Oh,
Fucking
no.
nib. Yeah.
At least there's that, I guess. I can make a machinima out of Resident Evil Village and put Dracula in it.
Yes, you can, and I'll voice it for you.
But somebody else has
hey,
to buy it because I'm not buying it. I refuse.
Okay, fair enough. Well, whoever's gonna make that machinima, Sean will write it. Somebody else will play it, and then I'll do the voices, and we'll be gravy.
Or you can
And
mail
someone
your
else will upload
PS5 to patreon.com/thewordproductions.
Yeah, or that. Also send us drug money, please. I mean, what?
Yeah, do drugs? What?
For microphones.
Marijuana. Just kidding. I don't smoke the wacky tobacco.
It's
You
legal.
should.
It is legal, yes, but I drink, so
I drink my pain away.
I
stay
prefer
away.
that method instead.
Is it legal in the States?
Yeah.
Yes, it is.
No.
It
We had
will.
one thing, and you guys.
I will say on the federal level, it is not legal, but on like various states, it's legalized. So, like for example, California, Colorado. Well, I think
Oh, it
like
was
New
legal
Hampshire,
in Colorado
maybe.
for like.
Well, yeah, exactly. Like
Yeah,
Colorado,
we,
was, like, one
we
of the
were
first
the
ones.
pioneers, okay?
Yeah, I mean, Sean was like right in there, first one in line. Like, hell yeah, give me that weed, bitch.
Somebody told
Doing
me
it so
Colorado
long,
was
that's
worse.
why it's so paranoid about Resident Evil.
Wow.
He's like tweaking.
Oh, dude, there's like vampires and werewolves now. What the fuck?
No,
man?
if I was smoking the weed, I'd be super excited about all this shit.
I'm so stoned.
God damn. If anybody's confused, which you should probably be, we were doing that for like 2 hours before the podcast.
Well, yeah, because Sean was busy getting ready, and so
Why'd
Jazz
you
and I were
say
just
it
going like,
that?
Sounded like he was doing something really bad.
yeah, Jazz and I were just workshopping a bunch of stuff, and it just ended up being a whole bunch of squawking like, ah!
So no context, and basically it's Kevin Hart. So
Yes, it is.
moving
It is
on.
Kevin Hart.
It's Kevin
Yeah, I'm Kevin Hart. Ah!
Is Kevin Hart a crow?
Yes, he is now a crow in our
It's a
context.
parrot. God.
Well, yeah,
sorry.
parrot, crow.
Know
He's
your
a bird.
birds.
It's not my fault. You're a terrible
It's a
actor.
sky chicken. or
Can't even
whatever
do a
Yeah, he's a
Australian
sky chicken.
What?
Sky chicken.
Anyways,
This summer, Kevin Hart is a sky chicken. Ah, I'm in the air. Ah!
he broke himself.
Anyway, this is also the kind of mood I've been in today too. So take that for what you will.
Now I want therapy.
Dude,
Wow.
hey man, like I said, I recommend it.
Sweet.
I mean,
Can I
you know, that's
talk
the other
about
thing about it.
Resident Evil?
Yeah, well, that's the other thing
And
about therapy
therapy.
too, is that like, you know, the thing that really made me actually like consider doing it is that, you know, for the longest time I didn't really think there was anything like wrong with me. Like I always thought like, oh, my life's actually pretty good. I just have like some bad days here and there. But then like, oh, turns out after talking about a bunch of shit I've been going through that actually I do have some problems. So, you know, you might surprise yourself depending on, you know, even if you just talk to somebody, what you could learn about yourself.
Real talk, I feel like the majority of the human race probably has some form of depression. We're just not aware
Yep.
of it.
Anxiety, depression,
Yeah.
like what have you. Yep.
Upset stomach, diarrhea. Hey,
Yeah.
pacifist.
Ask your doctor if butt sex is right for you.
The answer is yes.
Very
What?
yes.
Porn stars will say yes.
Oh yeah.
Oh no.
Jesus. Oh, no.
Jeezum. That's Jesus's jism, mind you.
Oh no.
Oh my god.
Oh, demonetized.
That happened a long time ago.
Yes, it did. It always happens every episode. Poor Sean never makes any money on our bullshit.
Patreon.com.
Yeah, Patreon.com/the ward. But seriously, you should support it because I do. I throw
thought you were gonna
$10
say,
a month
but
at your
seriously,
drug
depression
habit.
is
I mean,
real.
your content. I miss you guys.
We miss you too. Welcome back.
I know. I don't come on often enough. I suck.
We're gonna
Oh,
change that. We're gonna change that.
Oh, please do. Hit me up,
Hello,
please.
what, how
I'll
are you?
gladly do it.
Did you have a week?
Yes, Sean.
No,
forgot.
I put
We're on the
mine in.
podcast.
I put
What?
mine in the recycling bin.
Recycling?
Oh,
Recycle
so
LA.
you'll get to use it again later.
Exactly. I can
Oh,
have
nice.
2 shitty weeks back to back.
Yay!
Recycling.
I love it.
You hear that? He cares about the environment.
Yeah.
Get him.
His shitty
I'm
environment.
gonna recycle my Resident Evil collection. Never.
Right? Yeah. At this point, it's just like I'm totally done. I'm burning everything.
See, at least there's that though. I'll never get to the point where I'm just like, Resident Evil is no bueno, and I throw everything in the trash.
No.
I will always love.
But as far as like the weird directions the franchise keeps taking, you're totally valid in complaining about them.
Yeah, even though I may be lost right now for the future of the franchise, I still loves me my Resident Evil. So don't get it twisted.
Yep, and you can't mess with the classics either. You can never take that away.
Exactly.
Yeah.
My week.
I feel you, buddy.
Yeah. My week was fine, I guess. Well, fine. I don't know. I don't know what I'm talking about. It was very stressful. It was slow in terms of like media. Like I haven't really had a lot of time to do much in terms of like playing or watching stuff. But life-wise,
yeah.
It's been kind of hectic for me. But I'm surviving. I'm getting by. I thought I might be, podcasting in alley behind a Burger King next week. But
hey, look, a Burger King.
More like Bugger King, bugger in your butthole.
But yeah, like my lease was on my apartment right now is up on the 12th. And I haven't been able to find a new place to move into. And I've had all my shit in boxes for like over a month while I'm trying to find a new place. And it wasn't until yesterday that I got approved for a new place that I applied for a few days prior to. So I really lucked out by finding a place that worked, applying for it, and hearing back immediately, all within the week that I was going to have to leave here. So, yeah, it was kind of stressful, but it worked out like all last minute, so thank God.
That is fucking amazing, dude. I bet you felt so stressed the fuck out, and then you're just so like, super huge sigh of relief, like holy fuck.
The biggest part. Like,
yeah, exactly. It's like he clenched his asshole for so long.
When I let go, everything
finally able
out.
to unleash the fury.
My spirit fell out of my ass.
Again.
Yeah.
Wow.
and not behind the alley of a Burger King.
Exactly.
I will unleash the most powerful weed fart I can.
That sounds horrifying.
It is.
Comes out in a blue smoke.
Yeah, I used to smoke the weed, so I know how that is.
But yeah, just been dealing with that, and of course I've been working a lot, and that's no bueno.
No bueno.
But no bueno.
I keep telling you to call in sick, but you're being a fucking nerd.
No, I want to, okay? I would never go if it was up to me, but
Yeah, and then like one of the things that I didn't realize, especially based on our conversation last night, I didn't realize how late you work all the time.
Yeah, I work overnights, so.
Oh, you poor bastard.
Yeah, I typically work like 10-hour days too, so.
Oh no.
And he loves it.
Oh yeah,
what you do with your life, man?
I'm like, call in sick after the podcast. And he's like, I can't call in sick on the weekend. And then yesterday, I'm like, call in sick. It's not the weekend. He's like, no.
I can't just call out all the time. I need to keep my job.
Dude, I had to hook you up with Roblox somehow because we don't fucking pull that shit.
Did you say Roblox?
Well, yeah, that's what I work for right now.
Oh yeah. Wow, yeah. I was joking, but it's true.
Yeah, and I'm not. So
look at the big boy with his Legos.
With his gaming industry job.
How dare you have a good job? Okay, I don't appreciate that.
Yeah, who's this asshole coming into the podcast and shitting all over us?
He got some great pills to make me happy, and I got a good job.
Wow.
Yeah, and he works for a kids game and cusses like a sailor. What a fuckface.
That's normal.
It is normal. I love swearing.
That was my job.
Swearing? Oh, if I could get paid to swear, I'd be rich. It'd be
swearing
great.
In front of kids.
Yeah.
Fuck your kids and fuck you too.
I have to make them cry instead, and it's just as fun, but.
Make them cry like bitches.
Can you pay me to make your children cry? I'll do it. It's fine.
I'll do it.
Spank the fuck out of them.
But you just mentioned
acting out of line, you little shit.
It's great. I have that power.
It's great. I have the power.
I got the power of the power.
Okay, shut up. We're derailing. My week. I didn't do much. I finished, or no, I didn't finish. But I'm almost done watching Girl Meets World, which it's fine. It's
okay.
All right. Look, like
Sean's getting in touch with his feminine side, okay?
But I watched this whole series.
It's only 3 seasons, so it's short.
Yet you won't watch Disenchantment 80 times.
Wow,
When you clearly
wow.
have the time to do it.
These are my sleepy time things. Like, if I throw a Disenchantment on and I go to sleep to it, I'm just gonna... I'm not gonna retain it, okay?
You're not gonna understand.
Yeah, poor little Shaun, I'll tell you.
Because like I watched
Retain
all
it.
of Boy Meets
Okay.
World, and I don't remember or know like 90% of what happened in that show.
Did the boy
because
ever actually meet the world?
he did. I did finish the last episode, and they said it, and I was like, oh,
Did they go to space? And he's like, "Hi, world."
get the fuck out of here.
I would watch that.
Yeah, same.
I would do.
Boy
Series
Meets World,
finale,
guys.
motherfucker.
But yeah, that's been fine. It's fine. That's literally the only thing that I've had time to watch because I go to sleep and I put one of the two on and that's it. That's been my life. Okay, Corey
Yeah.
Matthews is my friend. Okay,
That's 'cause
He's
your
my
name is
best
Shaun.
friend.
and he's also in Resident Evil.
What?
What?
Oh
What?
man, now the Resident Evil franchise is really going to shit. If Corey Matthews is showing up and
Wow.
killing zombies.
Boy Meets
Hey.
World and shoot zombies.
Boy Meets World and zombies.
Boy Meets Zombies.
Or wait, Boy Meets the End of the World.
There you go. There it is.
Yep, that's the title.
I
Boom.
played a couple of the video games. I played more of that Thronebreaker, the Witcher 3
Oh.
card game campaign, which is pretty good.
Oh, interesting.
It's weird though because like the game is more or less the same as the Gwent card game that they released before it, but they made a lot of changes from it though, because like it's like they have the same cards, but they have different values. So I'm so used to the way that it was before that it's just confusing me. But it's fine. It's fun. I like that they kind of turned it into. It's weird. It looks like a Telltale game, like the graphic style, which I kind of like that style. So that's cool. And
Nice.
then they have like an open world map, so you can like run around and talk to people. So it feels kind of RPG ish. And then you do the card game battles, which is pretty cool. I don't know. I like that shit. It's different. It's a good change of
Cool.
pace. So that's
Yeah,
been
sure.
pretty fun. And then of course I did the Shoosties with the Zombie Army trilogy with Jazz. And we accomplished nothing. We got
Very productive.
2 collectibles and then
We
just a
pushed,
bunch of fuckery.
We pushed a guy in a wheelchair into a hole.
That was well, no. I tried to
awesome.
push him into the hole and he wouldn't go into the hole until
Then I
you shot his head
him,
off.
and then we pushed him.
Exactly. You got to shoot his head off and then push him into the hole.
I was recording all of that, so I'm gonna make a
Oh,
montage of us
oh, that's
shooting
amazing.
people.
See, I love when you're able to do shit like that in video games. Just totally fuck around and like throw bodies into like weird places and shit like that, and just be a fucking dickhead about it. Especially in a game that's supposed to be all super serious too.
Super
Me and
stereo.
Sean just going like, "Is this guy alive or not?" And then I shot him in the face.
That was fucking
Established
hilarious.
he was not.
There's this guy just like sitting on a bed and he looks like he's all fucked up, so it's like you can't really tell if he's like just a NPC guy or if he's a zombie because he could just be hurt. And I'm like trying to figure out if he's dead or not, and fucking Jazz comes up behind me and blows his goddamn head off in front of my face. And I'm like, oh, I guess it doesn't matter. He dead now.
He
Looks
looked
like he lost his head.
The last time
bother.
we found out we could kill the survivors, and we're just like sniping them off the roofs, thinking, okay, whatever, they're just NPCs. Then we go in this room full of NPCs, and Sean shoots one of them, and they all fucking start shooting me.
Yeah.
That was
Awesome. Yeah, I remember the last
No.
gaming moment I had similar to that was when me and my best friend were playing Grand Theft Auto 5, and this is like maybe a little bit after when it first came out, and we just fucked around like all as much as we could. And like one of the most fuck aroundy things that I did that I still remember to this day
fuck around
was
with
there.
things.
Well, yeah, exactly. Oh, I love it. So I remember we went to like the whole section where there's like farmland and ranches and like trailers and all that kind of shit. Just out in like the boonies of Los Santos, and like I saw a bunch of cows, and then I also saw a forklift, and I was just like, hey, I got an idea. And I took the forklift and I tried to forklift the cow and it worked.
You forked the cow. Good
Yeah, I
job.
forked it good.
Wow.
America
I forked it right in the middle of the field
in front of its friends.
and I plowed it hard.
Jesus.
Alec, we got to get you back into the zombie squad. You fucker.
I need some milk. Oh, Alex said I'll be right back.
Oh, that motherfucker. He's not even here now. How can I expect him to be in the zombie squad?
Exactly.
Hey,
Son of a
Alec is
bitch.
sticky poo, okay? Give him a break.
Yeah. But you two, Austin, we need to play some shit. We've been friends for too long to
I
have
know.
never have played a game ever.
I know it's only been like
this.
10 fucking years, and
Right?
like we've never actually played a game together.
It's terrible.
Well, it's like that's the funny thing is because like I'm pretty avid PC gamer, and you're much more a console gamer, so
yeah,
that's
I
kind of
guess
one of the
that makes
main
sense.
reasons why.
Well, I mean, I have a PC where I like it's pretty powerful. I can do PC gaming. I
against
just
living
prefer.
yeah, well, just hit me up for a PC game. We'll figure
I
something
wanna
out.
play-
Do you not own a console?
I mean, so the way that my living situation works is that we do have consoles in the house, and like we can share them periodically, but more often than not, like we already are. I'll have our own computers and stuff, so I mostly just stick to my computer most of the time.
Oh.
Though, like as far as consoles in the house that we have, like we do have a PS4, so like that'd be the most likely to play PS4 games with you. And then like a bunch of my roommates have Switches, but like they keep the Switches to themselves, so it's just like, okay, well that's dumb, you know.
Well, we typically play on PS4, so that's perfect. You can play with us.
Fuck, I'll have to get on
Or
PSN
PlayStation
then.
bags.
Yeah.
As Joe
What
called us.
PS4 games do you play typically?
All of them.
Yeah, yeah.
I
Well,
play all.
okay, but-
I play a lot. I play pretty much. I'm open to play almost anything. It's
Yeah, 'cause,
more.
like,
It's more about what Jazz is
particular-
willing to play because she's a picky fuck.
Wow. Wow. I'm like, let's
Listen.
play Conan. No, let's play Ark. No.
I
Yeah.
played
Yeah, 'cause-
Conan and Ark. And
Actually, right now
Forest.
for PS4, I got Diablo 3. I got
There you go.
Borderlands Enhanced
Hey, yeah,
Collection.
you have
and I
Diablo
got,
3?
Injustice.
We should all get on Diablo
Yes,
3.
and Injustice. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm down for some Diablo 3. Let's fucking do it.
Start over.
Hell, the
'cause I forgot
I
how
think
to
the console
play.
version is better, honestly.
That's sad.
yeah,
Wow.
let's coordinate that shit. Let's go.
Let's do it.
Like
Let's
right
do
now,
it.
let's go.
Wow.
Well, not right now. Not right now, but at some point later, I'm down.
This has been episode.
Get the fuck out of here. All right.
fuck
we
off,
need
we're
to
all
get the
gonna
fuck
put you
out of our weeks. This has been bananas.
Oh yeah.
This shit is bananas.
Last thing that happened in my week is I was able to replace my damaged Last of Us 2 Collector's Edition. So, yay. I got a replacement.
How'd it get damaged?
Fucking goddamn it. So I had a stack of games next to my computer, and The Last of Us, my Steelbook was like somewhere in the middle of that stack of games, and I accidentally bumped the stack, and everything fell over. So when that fell over, my Steelbook got scratched somehow. I don't know how. It fell from like 2 or 3 feet up onto carpet. How did it get scratched? I don't know.
Well,
but
that,
it did.
that is weird.
Yeah, somehow it managed
That's some
to...
sharp carpet you got there, buddy.
somehow it managed to happen, and I was pissed. And I didn't think.
Yeah,
I'd
my
be able
carpet's
to...
made of knives and
was a rug
nails.
I didn't think I'd be able to replace it, but I was able to, so I'm happy about that. So yay!
Oh, that's good. Yay, awesome.
There we go. That was my week.
Yeah, now our week's gonna be like, yeah, what'd you do this week? We all played Diablo. Okay.
There you go.
Better.
It's time for some ass.
I love the ass.
It's time for some news.
I had to throw one in there.
Why is this happening? It's news.
Look who you hired to be voice actors for you. A bunch of fucking idiots.
Bunch of assholes farting.
I need to check inside your asshole.
Luckily, this will be quick. Well, I don't know if it's luckily or not, but this will be quick. 'cause
Oh, what will be
there's-
quick, huh?
there's
Timing
not...
was horrible.
Shut up!
My exam? Is that what you're talking about?
No. News.
You gotta check your prostate shot.
There wasn't a whole lot of news, and the news that was there is like meh.
Garbage
So
poo-poo.
bunch of garbage.
Bunch of garbage.
Luckily, Alec isn't here for this because he doesn't like the news.
Yeah, well,
Or
if anything, that's probably a
Well,
good
I
thing
don't
because
either. The news is bullshit. It's always bad.
well, gee, especially with the fucking times we're living in right now, right? Like, how much worse could
You
it
went
possibly
straight up
fucking
into
get?
Leon.
What?
You went straight into your Leon
Ah,
voice
fuck.
right there.
Ah, fucking goddamn bullshit ass
damn it.
farts. Damn it.
But yeah, so first up, Rocksteady announces they are announcing a Suicide Squad game.
They
Oh.
They announced that they're going to announce a Suicide Squad game. This is the world that we live in, everybody. We're announcing announcements. What the fuck? What is the point of that?
I don't know.
understand.
It's,
they-
it's just dumb.
They announced the announcement will be made on August 22nd as part of the DC fandom or fandom. I don't know what the fuck this is. It's some kind of event, but it's spelled
what?
weird.
You know what that kind of shit is? That's just kind of like they're, hyping up the fact that they're actually going to show off the game. It's just like, they're trying to like make it as official as possible. So I think that's just kind of like the semantics of that statement, as opposed to like they're announcing an announcement. It's just like, yeah, well, that's like the obvious joke that you could make, to be sure. But like, I think they're going more for the idea that, we're actually going to show off this game a little bit and actually give you some more details more specifically. So I think that's what they're going for. But yeah, like on paper, it sounds fucking stupid.
It's redundant. Like we have a bunch of places that cover video game news. Like, make your goddamn announcement once, and then the news outlets will cover it and give you the attention so that the news gets out to people. Like, by default, if they just have an event, or that's the thing. So announce the event where you're going to do the announcement. Don't announce that you're announcing a specific thing. You're having the event to make announcements. So you can have a blanket statement. Hey, we're doing this event where we're going to announce a bunch of games, and then have that event and announce the goddamn games. Like, what are we doing here, people? How long have video games been around? How long have we been doing this? Come on.
Yeah, like, especially speaking to a lot of the points that you already made earlier, especially about like Resident Evil stuff, like it almost feels like the game industry is just like repressing themselves into just really stupid tactics for marketing things.
It feels like we've just gotten to a point where like gaming has gotten to the place where it's normal. Like it's kind of been mainstream for a while, but I think now it's like legitimized itself, where it's become a normal thing that's a part of the world. So it's not special anymore. It's just a thing that exists. And that's sad. And now it's being treated differently.
Yeah, it's a sad state of affairs.
It's unfortunate.
Oh, hey, Alex back.
Yeah, I'm back.
Welcome back to the news.
We're talking about how dumb the game industry is, as usual.
Okay, back to Sean's corner then.
Wow, yeah, we went backwards.
Didn't miss anything.
I feel like I haven't done my... There we go.
There you go, got it out. And then second news item we got is Hitman 3 is getting a VR mode on PlayStation. During Sony's State of Play event, it was revealed that Hitman 1 through 3 will be fully playable in VR from start to finish. All 3 games will be included in the Hitman Trilogy collection, with VR support added to each game individually sometime later. So
that could be fun.
Yeah,
pre-order now, and you can get a barcode for your tattoo for your head.
There you go.
Yeah, right.
Get it.
Or your arm, depending on what your...
Or your ass.
No, you have to get it on your head, otherwise you're not a hitman.
Then
you're just a regular asshole. You're just a product.
Wow. Aren't we all products of society?
We're products of the man.
The man. There you go, Dante.
The man's coming and ruining the video game industry. God damn it.
He's always giving me shit because like we have these opportunities where I could make a reference for him, and it doesn't register until it's too late. So there you go, Dante.
Yeah.
I did it. Be proud.
Yep, we fucking did it, dude.
Just like a sexual predator.
Oh no!
Wow.
The Worldcast, sponsored by.
And there goes your
Get
moment.
one now.
Because when I think of Dante, I think of pedophiles.
No!
I mean, what?
Wow. That was the registration joke. Oh no!
Just kidding, Dante. I love you.
Just remember,
delete
Jazz,
that.
this is all your fault.
What?
God damn it, Jazz.
It's not my fault.
Yeah, Jazz.
Shut up.
You made him a pedophile. Oh wait! Wow!
Oh.
Wow!
No, if anything, that was my fault.
You know I'm older than him, right?
I know, but still, it sounded bad.
What difference does that make?
Where's Diz when you need
Make
her?
anybody
She's
anything.
18.
Just because I said sorry doesn't
Or
mean
12,
I was responsible.
Sorry about that.
Well,
I didn't mean to touch your kid, eh?
just edit that out of the podcast.
That definite demonetization if it hasn't already.
That boat has sailed. Okay.
I think you're getting a channel strike now.
No,
because of my ass.
No,
Nah.
you're gonna get a channel strike because of my ass.
Your ass. Because of my asshole.
News. Third item. Microsoft updates.
News: pedophiles attack Microsoft.
Wow. Microsoft updates Xbox Game Pass by removing the word Xbox because they're ashamed.
I'm sorry.
And
What?
the letter P, so it's game ass.
Why?
The Xbox Game Pass branding has dropped the word Xbox from its social logos, meaning it is now known simply as Game Pass. It is no longer Xbox Game Pass. Because fucking Microsoft is trying to turn themselves into a service. They don't want to be known as Xbox anymore. They're just fucking Game Pass, where they're trying to get away from the Xbox brand of consoles and just be games on everywhere. You can play fucking Xbox games on PC and on a console and on your fucking smart TV and on your phone.
They're doing a
and blah, blah,
Konami thing,
blah.
aren't they? Where they're making desktop PCs.
and furniture. Yeah, I mean, at least they're still doing video games and they're still making their Halos and whatnot, but they're just, everybody's going in a direction that I don't like. Basically,
that's the funny part, is that like you say that as a means of saying like this decision sucks, but like you fully explained that to me, and I'm just like, you know what? I actually really like this idea.
Yeah, and to be fair, I get it.
It's the pills. That's why you're liking these things.
I get why. People
I just love everything now.
Streaming. I get why people like digital. I understand it. Like, I'm not an idiot. I'm not oblivious to it, but to me, it's just like, it's not, if that's what things become, which eventually it will be, it's just not worth it. It waters things that, like we were talking about video gaming becoming mainstream and not really, it's not special anymore, and it's being treated that way. And like, as we go into like digital only and streaming video games, it becomes even less special, because everything's disposable. If games are becoming Netflix, service based, you watch so many movies on Netflix that you don't even, like, they don't stay in your mind very often. It's just like a thing that you experienced for an hour, and then you just kind of forget about it and you move on. Where like games were like, there's all these collector's editions, and you invest in them and you play them a lot, and you play with your friends, and you spend 20, 30 hours in it. It's a bigger deal than a movie, where
and
movies are a snapshot, games are an investment. And when you buy a game, a physical game, there's more of an attachment there, outside of the other shit, like not owning it and all that other garbage that we talk about all the time. What, Alec?
Nothing.
What?
He was singing a sad song about something.
Wow.
Yeah, but like kind of speaking to that point too, like, if anything, with a lot of just how the entertainment industry in general has gone, there are just so many things that have suffered that for a long time, where it's just the idea of like, oh, like nobody really cares, like it's just kind of disposable entertainment, it's going to be forgotten about, so we don't really have to put that much effort into it. And like, especially with video games, because like video games have gotten a lot shorter. They've turned into more like subscription based games. They've turned into more like games that feel more like movies rather than video games. And it's like, if anything, that's just been a really major symptom in the game industry for a really long time. And like, it's just kind of like hitting a breaking point eventually, to where it's just like, man, none of us want to play these video games anymore, because they kind of more or less suck, because, they're not really like making the investments that they should be.
Yeah, well, they're creating the industry, or not creating, but they're like shifting the industry around the audience. And the audience is saying, we don't really care. We want to play a game for a little while, and then we're done, and that's it.
Yep.
So they're modeling the games around that audience, around that idea. So the more we lean into that, the more the developers are going to lean into that. So we're going to get shittier, temporary, disposable games. Everything's going to become a game as a service. It's just like with Xbox Game Pass, or Game Pass now, where like, it's a great deal. It's like what, $10 a month or something, $15 a month or something like that. And it's Netflix. You get a rotating amount of games, and they're changing all the time, and you get to play a ton of stuff, and there's a lot of value in that. But at the end of the day, you're paying money for a service. You don't own any of that. As soon as you stop paying for that service, or if that service is shuttered and they implement a new service, all of that goes away. All the money that you spent on that service was paying for a temporary experience. You don't own anything. There's no investment in that. There's no going back. It's once and it's done. And that sucks. And
as far as you championing that point, like, I absolutely agree with you on that. Like, that whole model is bullshit. But like, unfortunately, a lot of people are into it just because of the fact that there's a convenience factor in the sense that it's just like, oh, well, I could just go on Steam and I could just download this game whenever I want. But then like people don't realize that, well, yeah, if Steam shuts down, then you pretty much don't own the game anymore. So nobody's really thinking about that. They're just kind of living in the moment because of it.
Yeah, it's just like mobile game, or not mobile games, but like cell phone games. Like there's been a huge explosion because of that mindset, because it's like, oh, I can just play it for a couple minutes here and there and not think about it ever again. So since so many people like that, there's money to be made there. So companies are leaning into that. But when was the last time you heard somebody like talking about a mobile game and how amazing it was and how it changed their life and how they're huge fans of it? That's never happened.
Well, it was playing Pokemon Go before we did the broadcast, so.
But that's Pokemon based off of something existing, and you like Pokemon for what Pokemon has been, not specifically for Pokemon Go itself. If Pokemon Go was the very first Pokemon game, I bet you wouldn't have fucking got into it as much as you did now.
Nope.
Pikachu.
Nope.
So like mobile games are just that. You know what it is. They're disposable. You don't really think about them. There's not that investment. So if that's where the market is leaning, that's where developers are going to go, and that's what games are going to become, and that's really unfortunate. Because games have always been special, and they've been like long lasting. People build fandoms, and they buy collectibles and collector's editions and video game collections in general. There's an investment there, but when there's no tangibility there, and there's no investment in the content, video games are going to change in a big way, and that's not something that I'm interested in. That future is not appealing to me.
Yep.
So that's
I
unfortunate.
totally agree with you there.
And I think a lot of people, like you've got a lot of like the younger audience, they're not thinking about any of this, right? They don't know better. They're growing up with these things already there. Mobile gaming was just something there, their entire lives. Games as a service is the same way. Like they don't know better. They don't have anything to really compare it to, so they're not thinking about it. And then you have the people that used to be invested in that are just looking at, oh hey, it's convenient, it's easy, it's fast, blah blah blah. They're losing sight of the bigger picture because they're looking more at the now, and that it's easy and that it's quick and it's cheaper and blah blah blah. The ramifications of it are going to be the entire landscape completely changing. What games are, the kind of content that we get, how long games are around, how we consume them. Like everything is going to change based on these decisions that people aren't really thinking about. And again, they're not talking about. There's no conversation. There's no looking at the situation. There's no thinking about the long term. It's just quick, easy now. And that's going to fuck things up.
Yes.
And by the time people realize it, another thing I say a lot is it's going to be too late. Like people are going to see the impact of this happening. And it's already happened. It's done. That's gaming now, and you contributed to it turning into that, and now it's too late to go back.
Well, I think like the main problem here is that, especially because you keep consistently saying that the conversation isn't happening. I actually disagree. I think the conversation is happening. I just think that nothing is really being done about it. Like the status quo is just still staying there, and like it's just that. It's business as usual, and like, we're just going to keep pumping out these mobile games because people keep buying them. Like, I don't think it's actually going to change until people just stop buying this shit. And like, it's become so big in Ouroboros, like it's practically to the point where it's such an amorphous blob that it's going to be hard to really like actually get significant change in an industry to actually go back to, the whole, like actually making these investments worth it into these games, where it's like, there's just such a flood in the market when it comes to just how the mobile games have blown up that, this direction is just, well, the money train just keeps rolling. So we're going to ride the wave until it dies. So that's just kind of how I see it.
Yeah. DLC, season passes, loot boxes, all those still exist today because of us. We pay for them. Yep. We're telling the publishers that these are things we want because we're paying for it. Whether like, even if you hate loot boxes and then you go and you buy a bunch, it doesn't mean anything. Just because you hate it, you paid for it. You supported it. You told the company you like it, even though you don't.
Well, me personally, I've never fucking bought a loot box in my life, so that shit can fuck right off. But when it comes to DLC, if I know that the DLC content is worth it, then yeah, I'll definitely buy it. But I definitely wouldn't like give, like a blanket rule that like all DLC is good or all DLC is bad. Like that's really a case by case basis.
Yeah. but it's black and white for the company, right? If they,
Well, yeah, for the company.
if there's enough
They only
sales
see
in
money.
DLC, that's what they're gonna do. They're gonna lean into that. And
Man, these goddamn corporations got my video game. God damn it.
it's gross.
Man, it's fucking Nintendo, Sony. They're all fucking like, making us pay all this money and stuff, even though they've been doing this the entire time. God damn it.
All right, we got to get back on track. I gotta wrap this shit up here soon. So last thing we got
Good,
is
because I'm hungry.
wow. Eat your ass.
Uh-oh.
Wow.
I mean, oh, yay.
Last news item we got is Cuphead is now available on PlayStation 4. Yay. Woo. Woo.
Wait, it hasn't been this whole time?
No, it's been Microsoft. Well, for the most part, when it was exclusive to Xbox for, I want to say 2 years or something like that.
Oh.
And then it eventually made its way over onto the Switch. And now it's finally on PS4. And the only reason that I'm interested in this is because Limited Run Games, our sponsor, not sponsor, they make physical releases of PS4 games. They never do Xbox. So there was no chance of ever getting a physical release of that. But now that it's on PS4, they might make a physical version. And I can finally buy and play that game because I've been excited about it for a long time. But I really, really don't fucking like digital.
Yeah, and that's fine. But like,
as shocking as that may seem.
yeah, so shocking. But yeah, like I've been wanting to play Cuphead for a long time, but like I don't know, I just haven't gotten around to it yet. So eventually, I want to play it because it looks gorgeous. Like holy crap!
Yeah,
I mean,
it's really pretty.
I study animation, so that totally speaks to my inner animation nerd for sure. So you know, that's especially the main reason I want to play it. And I just hear it's fun in general, even though it's supposed to be hard as balls.
Yeah, I don't mind. I like difficult games.
Yeah. You like the masochism?
Yeah, I don't mind.
Yeah, I like getting my ass kicked, you know.
I like
whips
the
and
challenge. I
chains.
like to feel like I've achieved something. You know, if it's too easy, it's not fun. It's just like,
Yeah, I feel you.
Yeah. So that's good.
Yeah.
So that's news. Boop 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 boop.
Boopy boop.
No games this week because Alec is a sick fuck.
Fuck.
Well, I mean, he's always a sick
never
fuck,
stopped
but this
him.
week he's a sick fuck.
Yeah, poor guy.
And Jazz is lazy. So.
Wow.
Well, okay, guys. So write in the comments that Alec get well soon, and then Jazz stop being lazy bitch.
Wow.
Oh,
Wow.
just kidding.
Never bringing you again.
You did this. But no, it's good. We're at time now anyway. So again, for what, the third or fourth time in a row, we're not going to get to my segment, but it's fine because it's more or less.
Who else is lazy, Sean?
Wow. Hey, I typed up a whole fucking thing. It's already done, so you can kiss my ass. But I feel like we've
eat your asshole.
the conversation anyways. We've talked about a lot of the stuff that we were going to talk about anyway, because it's basically a topical discussion, like a deep dive into specific things, whether it's, you know, gaming in general or a concept of gaming, a specific game, a franchise. We just kind of deep dive into it and talk about it and share our opinions about a specific thing and have just a deeper conversation, because a lot of the things that we talk about is kind of fleeting. You know, we talk about it for a minute and then it's kind of gone. But like we were talking about today, I want to foster conversation, you know. Wow. Having a conversation about things, you know, and getting that out there in the world and different opinions, my opinion, because a lot of it's coming from me because I'm the one that's fucking angry and talking about it. But it'll be nice to kind of have like a round table where we can hear more about your guys' opinions on a specific thing in addition to mine. But the topic that I was going to have is going to be next gen, and we talked a lot about that today anyways. So at some point we'll talk about...
We got into it, dude.
Yeah.
It's fucking awesome.
We'll have a more broader conversation about that at some point, like, you know, what next gen is to you and kind of like what's appealing, not appealing about it, and whether you're going to buy it or not, and kind of what factors into your personal decision and kind of things like that. So we can kind of analyze that. And I feel like that's a topical thing because those consoles are around the corner. And like we were talking about today, not a lot of people are talking about these things. They're just buying into it. You know, oh, next gen, okay, I'll buy it. But I want a conversation about it. Like, why are you buying it? Why are you not buying it?
Yeah, sounds great.
So it'll be good.
Yeah, let's fucking
that
go.
Is not
I'm down.
happening today. And it's probably not going to happen until after the 100th episode at this point. But we'll see what next week brings.
That's fine. I mean, you know, obviously we got time until the consoles come out anyway, so you got plenty of time to think about it.
And this will be a segment that will be rotating. So kind of like our games and whatnot, and the machinima and the survival horror topic. This will be a thing that we bring back. You know, it won't be an every episode thing, but it'll be rotating throughout the other content that we do. So
Yeah, sounds great, dude.
so at least now you guys know what it is. We got a step closer to it at least.
And make sure to invite me, you bitch.
Yeah, you will be there, you fucker.
Ah, fucker. Yeah,
Alright.
yeah, because it's my fault that I'm not coming. No, nobody hits me up or anything.
Well,
You know?
I just didn't want to bother you.
Oh, dude, come on.
Hey,
I'll tell you guys. I'll tell you
used
guys
to-
this right now. You have every right to bother me whenever you fuck you want. Like, if I happen to not get back to you, like I'm probably like doing something, but I will absolutely get back to you guys. Like, you have obviously done so much for me over the years, as far as like, you know, giving me all kinds of fun things to do for you guys. So like, you know, you're always welcome in my DMs. I don't give a fuck.
You're gonna make me cry.
Good.
Wow. How dare
Bitch.
you? Wow. This has been episode
An
98.
emotional episode.
Thanks for
Yeah, I
coming
freaking
by,
love doing that. I love
and
saying
you
like genuinely
fucker.
nice things and then being an asshole right afterwards.
Shut up.
Fucking great. Shut up.
This has been episode
Detail this
98.
podcast,
Thanks for
really.
coming by and getting covered in our hot, steamy content. If you like things
I
hot
love you,
and
shut up.
steamy, you can help keep us hot and steamy by supporting us at patreon.com/thewordproductions. By supporting us there, you can get exclusive sneak peeks at upcoming videos, exclusive Patreon videos like outtakes, and much, much more. Whoa.
It's hot and steamy.
Let us know what's on your mind by leaving us a comment. You can contact us via the contact page at the-word.com, or you can tweet directly at me at thewordpro. So there you go. Let us know what you're thinking. Let us know what you like, what you don't like. Don't be a dick. Leave your comments.
Like me.
And yeah, that's going to do it for this week's episode. We will see you next time.
Bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Fuck your parents.
Wow, no! Teleportation.
You can add it. There you go.
Teleportation. Thanks.